Hi everyone. For this month's how-to video, I wanted to talk about how I create my tree trunk texture that I use. And you can use this to create swirls and all kinds of different designs in your tree trunks and your branches. So I thought we'd talk about that. I'm actually going to demonstrate on some watercolor paper. Hopefully that'll work out okay. Just so I can make it a little bigger so that you can see it a little more easily. So to begin with, you're going to want to define your trunk that you're planning on using. So I'm just going to start with just two simple lines defining my tree trunk. And then if you have branches, you could have those coming off of the side as well. I'm going to be using a burnt umber shade of brown for my painting, but you're welcome to use any shade of brown that you like, depending on what kind of tree trunk you want to create. And then the other thing I'm going to be using, like usual, I like to paint with my filbert brushes, and so I'm going to be using a filbert brush, kind of a medium-sized filbert brush, but any will do. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep this video running. What I'm going to do, I have my palette full of dried paint, but I have my burnt umber on here. And what I do is I start out by dipping my brush in water, and then I'm going to dip my brush in the brown paint so that it's just on the tip there. And then what I do is kind of a back and forth scrubbing motion, like this, all the way to the edge. So I took my brush and I turned it on the side, and I'm scrubbing back and forth. And what that does is it pushes most of the pigment to the edge right there. And so you can kind of see how I'm getting that line. And then I do it again. I dip my brush in water. Sometimes I tap it off on a paper towel a little bit. Dip on the edge with the brown, turn it to the side, and scrub. And I can do this all the way up. Once I get that first row, then I can decide where I want to come in next. And I'll start to add my second row. Same thing, turning to the side. And by scrubbing, I mean I'm just taking my brush and I'm going back and forth, back and forth. And you can keep going all the way up, and you can kind of direct where you want your bark to go. So for example, let me fix that top part there. If I decided that I wanted kind of more of a knot, maybe for my next one in here, I would push it a little bit closer, and then I could come out more. And so this is a pretty simple how-to video, but a really fun technique for you to try at home. So again, I'll show you one more time. I'm dipping my brush in water, dabbing it a little on a paper towel, dipping it in the brown, and then I'm just scrubbing to get that in there. And you can just continue on all the way across. Usually, as I get towards the center, I'll switch over, and what I'll do is actually pick up my canvas, turn it around, and I'll start on the other side as well, so that it'll start to look a little more three-dimensional. So I can build that side up. As well, and when you get to the middle, I feel like it kind of naturally comes together, and you'll have a space in the middle, and what it'll look like is you'll have dark on both sides, so that'll be kind of the center, and it'll kind of bubble out a little bit more. And that's it. Pretty simple how-to for this month, quick and easy. If you decide to try this technique at home, I'd love to see how it turns out for you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support as always. Next month should be, fingers crossed, the last month of my creation process for the book. And then in June, I will be talking with you all about the whole publishing process. So trying to figure out, trying to get all my images digitized, trying to find the right book format. I'm planning on self-publishing, so trying to find the right company to work with and making sure I do everything right on that. And so that will be a whole different kind of adventure. Still hoping to have the official hard copy of the book out in July, but it all depends on if I can get 3 paintings done next month. If not, then I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the 3rd painting done, which will actually be the book cover. That 3rd painting done in June at the very beginning of the month, so that it doesn't extend things too far. So thanks for tuning in, and I will be in touch soon.